more practice with translating expressions. So let's translate this phrase into an algebraic expression. The product of 3 and the sum of a number and 4. So a couple techniques here. Be on the lookout for keywords such as product. And then look at what you're taking the product of. You're taking the product of 3 and something else. So think about it like this. Whenever you say the product of two things, it basically means something times something else. So and look for what comes before the word and. So the product of 3 comes before the word and then whatever comes after the word and is the thing that's going to go over here. So the product of 3 and the sum of a number and 4. So how do you say sum of a number and 4? Sum means plus. So here's the sum of a number and 4. But I want 3 times that entire expression, so I'm going to need parentheses. So in the end, I'm going to have a page down here. So think about it like this. So I have 3 times some expression. Another way to say that is 3 parentheses that expression. So that translates to the product of 3 and the sum of a number and 4. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, with this one, we have the difference, which is a keyword for subtraction, the difference of m and n subtracted from, so always be careful of the word subtracted from. It affects the way you're going to write it out in terms of the order. So let's first start off with the difference of m and n. So difference, you know, means subtract. So m minus n, that'll take care of the difference of m and n. Okay, but we want that entire difference being subtracted from something else, from -8. So that quantity comes after the -8, right? So we're actually going to translate it that way. So -8 minus parenthesis m minus n. Okay, so I am aware that a lot of people get confused by subtracted from. So notice when you see subtracted from, then the quantity m minus n is sort of second in the sentence, if you will, okay, when you translate it algebraically. Okay, hope that helps. Let's try another one. Okay, this time we have the product, which is a keyword for multiply. So the product of 5 and a number minus the sum of the number and 2. So sometimes I work backwards. How do you just say the sum of the number and 2? Let's just start with that. So sum of the number and 2, that's definitely x plus 2. Then, now I'm going to kind of, sometimes I work, you know, from the tail end and then go back to the beginning. How do I say this part? The product of 5 and a number. So the product of 5 and a number, that means 5 times x, or just 5x. Then minus, and you're minusing the entire sum of the number and 2. So that's why we need parentheses around that sum. So that's going to be your final answer. So I like to think of it as, I'm writing this first part, the product of 5 and a number. Okay, that translates here, 5 times x, minus the sum of the number and 2. So a lot of people say, why do you need parentheses around it? Because if you didn't have parentheses around it, it would translate to 5 times the number minus the number plus 2. But it has to translate correctly, so you're minusing that entire quantity. All right, let's try one more. Okay, and for this last one, we have the square root of x subtracted from, again, I'm looking for the keyword subtracted from, the square root of x subtracted from the product of a and b. So sometimes it's helpful to work backwards. How do you just say this part, the product of a and b? Well, that definitely means a times b, or ab. And then how do you say the square root of x? Well, that's definitely just, you know, square root of x, like that. But the square root of x is being subtracted from this quantity here. So remember then, that means it's going to come at the end of the sentence, like this. Okay, of the algebraic sentence. So then we have AB minus the square root of x. So AB minus the square root of x is the same thing as the square root of x being subtracted from AB. They translate the same way. So this will be your final answer. And a times b with a dot written like that, or you could just say ab minus the square root of x. Either one of those would be acceptable. All right, good luck.